All right, guys, so in this video, we're going to look at Flexbox. Now, as I said before, the grid system uses Flexbox, but we can also use Flex without the grid on separate elements or wherever you'd like. And you'll notice in this video that we can actually use a lot of the same alignment classes that we used with the grid because the grid uses Flexbox. All right, now if you go to 4_4 Flexbox HTML, you're going to see a bunch of divs with the class of row HL and item HL. Now these have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Bootstrap. The row HL, actually I can show you the style up here that I did. It's just giving a background of light gray and a height of 250. So it's basically these gray boxes you see. And I'm only doing this for your benefit so that you can see what's going on a little better. And then item HL is just each item has a border around it. Okay, so these have nothing to do with Bootstrap. You don't have to memorize these classes or anything like that. All right, you can pretend they're not here, but I just did it so that you guys can see better. And then P4 is just I'm adding some padding around the text. So let's say that we want to turn this into a flex container, this div right here. All we have to do is add the class of dFlex. So display flex, just like we have dInline, dBlock, dInline block, we can do dFlex. If I save, oops, I'm on the wrong one here. I need to go to this top one. D-flex and save. And you'll see that automatically it's going to display as flex. If we were to look at the CSS on dFlex, it just displays flex and it adds an important flag. Okay, so it would be the same as putting display flex in your CSS. Now, those of you that are familiar with native Flexbox, you can have it go in a row like this or in a column like this. Okay, so a row would be horizontal, column would be vertical. Now, I could add the class of flex-row and save, but it's going to look the same because it's a row by default, but this is an actual class. All right, now let's say we want to flex row, but we want them on this side. So what we could do is add the flex row reverse. So I'm going to say dFlex on this next one here. Whoops, not equals. D-flex, and then I'm going to say flex-row-reverse and save. And now it does the same thing, only they're on this side. Okay, now let's look at some justification and alignment. So to justify content, let's say that we want these to be at the start. So we could say dFlex, and then we could say justify content start and save. And it's going to look the same as it does up here because it's aligned to the left by default. But let's say we want to do the center. So right here, let's do dFlex, and let's say justify content center and save, and now you'll see it's in the center. All right, and then we're looking at this one right here, by the way. We can also do end, so if we want to align it to the right. So for this next one here, let's say dFlex, and we'll say justify content end, save, and now that's going to move it to the end. We can also do content around, just like we did in the last video with the grid. So we can say dFlex, justify content around and save, and what it does is it puts the spacing around each one. Okay, and then just like we have with the grid, we have in between, so justify content between. So I'll say dFlex, justify content between and save, and now it doesn't put it on the sides, but it puts it in between each one. So you can see it's really easy to line things up the way that you want. Okay, and of course this could be anything, paragraphs or images, whatever you'd like. So up to this point we've been working with flex rows. Now if we want a flex column, and we're looking at this right here, this block, we could say dFlex, save, and it's going to look like that, but then we can add flex-column and save, and now you can see it's a column. Okay, so it's going vertical as opposed to horizontal. And just like we can with flex row, we can do flex column reverse. So let's take a look at the next one, and let's say D flex flex column reverse, and save. And now you see that it's aligned down here. And these should have comments, guys. I'll probably add the comments to your version of this of the starter sandbox. All right, so let's look at some vertical alignments. So let's see, we're gonna go, I think we're at what, this one right here. So vertical align items, let's add deflex, and let's say align dash items dash start, and we'll save. And now we're looking at vertical alignment, so we're aligning them up here. Okay, if we wanted to align them to the center, then we could do deflex align items center, save. And now this next one, you can see they're aligned to the center. And then this one here, we'll say deflex align items to the end, and save. And now they're at the bottom. All right, so we can do that. Now if we want to do aligning to the baseline, we can do that as well. So let's go to the next one. I'm sorry, these are not well commented. I'll change these in your version. So right here, it's kind of tripping me up a little bit. So let's say deflex, and let's say align items baseline, and save. And it's just gonna look the same as the align items start, but if we look at the CSS, let's see, baseline, so it's actually align, it's using the align items property, setting it to baseline. So we can also stretch them, meaning that we can have them go like all the way down, all the way up. So for that, let's do deflex, and let's say align items dash stretch, and save. And now you'll see they'll go up and down. All right, now those classes, just like in the last video, align items is going to take all of them and align them, but we may want to align separate ones, so we can use align self for that. So let's give this a class of deflex, and let's go to each one of these divs here, and let's take this one, and actually I'll save this first of all so that they're aligned as a flex row. And then let's add the class to this first one of align self start. Okay, so I'll save that. And then this next one, let's say align self center. If I save that, that one's going to be in the center. Align self end. Save that. That one's going to be at the end. We can do align self baseline. Okay, so that's going to align the baseline. And we can also do align self stretch, save, and that one is going to stay stretched. Okay, and it's stretched by default. So remember, align items is going to do all of them. Align self you want to do on each one. Okay, so that's going to be it, guys, as far as flex and alignment and stuff like that. In the next video, I want to take a look at auto margins and also wrapping.